Back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, Creme Radio XTV on this Tuesday morning. Creme, good morning, WB.
Hi, good morning, Brother Mose. How are you today?
I am okay, Sister Ella Witt, President of the Trade Union Congress of Belize. How are you doing?
I'm good and excited because we are looking forward to our Labor Day March and Rally on Friday, this Friday, right in your neighborhood, Brother Mose, right in Belize today.
Okay, and so it's on Friday. We had Sister Ella calling to was questioning about how okay you're with the Agri Show being starting on Friday as well. Is there any concern about that infringing on the day and its meaning in your thoughts?
Yes, well, Brother Mose, as you know, on 1st of May, it is a public and bank holiday, so there's always some kind of concern we would have about persons attending our activities because it's a holiday and people tend to want to go on their own way, go to a river, go to the country, and we've always been trying to push for workers especially to celebrate Labor Day the way it was intended for it to be celebrated, put together with workers, right? So the Agri is no different for us. The Agri will be in Belmopan, will be in Belize today. For the past 2 years, we've had our Labor Day activities in Belmopan, and we decided this year, let's take it to Belize City because we've heard the concerns of workers saying we have to travel all the way to Belmopan. Why not change the venue this year? So it's in Belize City, and we're happy that we're getting support from the union so far. We're getting good support. But we want to get the support from general workers of this country, people who toil every day, who feel that, you know what, I have some concerns about the way the work I do and the benefits I get. Come out, there's a lot of national issues as well happening in this country. Come out and let's put our minds together. Let us celebrate ourselves as workers and let the concerns that we have be voiced, and that's the greatest opportunity. There's no excuse you have to go to work, right? So come out, we're asking our workers to come out, the general public to come out and support the March and Rally. The walk won't be too long, but the most, because it starts at the Constitution Park at 8:30 a.m. in the morning. We plan to walk from there with our flags and our flyers and our banners and our voices, and we make our way over to Brazil. We'll be having a rally. We should be at Brazil, I'd say, maybe around 10 o'clock. We'll have a rally where all the presidents get up and give their speeches and their concerns that they have with their unions and, of course, on national issues. We'll be having music, we'll be having food, and we'll be having some games as well. So we're asking people to bring out their family. It's going to be a nice family day. Very safe. We have commitment from police already to be out there with the march and the rally. We should end up by 4 o'clock. Then after that, everybody's go on their own and they'll finish off their personal celebration. So we're asking persons to join us on Labor Day, join the NTUCB. We always hear people asking, what will NTUCB do about this national issue and that national issue? Well, let us see you support the NTUCB now, because I think people have to understand that NTUCB must be strong for us to stand up to any force that is out there that are doing things that may negatively affect us as Belizeans. And for us to be strong, we have to have people behind us. And Labor Day shows it makes us flex to say, you know what, NTUCB is strong, and when we say listen to us, they need to listen to us. So that's another reason why they should ensure that they join us on 1st of May, Friday, from 8:30 at Constitution Park, and we make our way over to Brazil.
We've had multiple conversations over the past weeks, Sister President, about the NTUCB and how it advocates and who it advocates for. And so I think, unfortunately, and a lot of it is my fault, because I am sure that you would not have had any problems coming on the WB. But since you've become the president of the NTUCB, you have not been on the WB while I have hosted. And so you've been president for about a year now, or is it shorter?
Yes, 1 year. 1 year so far.
1 year so far. A lot has happened in that year. But I think lately we've had this concern about the NTUCB and how it relates to entities that might not be union, specifically looking at the the emergence of both former workers of BTL and former workers of BEL forming associations, but they have not become unions. What is the NTUCB position on people who, many of them former union members, former union leaders, right now actively organizing to try to get justice for their denied severance? What is the NTUCB position on that?
Well, I think what I want you to know how the NTUCB operates. It's not the president who makes calls on any actions we take.
Yeah.
It goes through a process where we go through the executive and then to the general council. The general council did authorize and supported a letter that we wrote to the Labor Department where we cited our strong opinion that pension is very different from severance. The labor law dictates that we are supposed to be paid severance after either 5 or 10 years of service to any employer. And we also made some recommendations in that letter, basically insisting that the Labor Department ensures that it shares that opinion that the court gave and that we understand from the Labor Act, and that it provides assistance to those folks, to those former workers, and that it educates both employees, workers, and the employers on the difference between pension and severance.
No.
We have done that. We have shared that with both entities. We had invited both entities to be on our Voice of NTUCB talk show. I think it's not last week, the week before. Share that space with them, and we have supported them. I will admit, there are some issues we're having with some aspects of what happened, which I prefer because remember, from those farmer workers, we do have the unionized entities at those workplaces. And they are aware of the issues that we're having, but that does not mean that we do not support them. It just means that we have to make decisions according to our membership. Now, for myself, I can speak for myself. I definitely support them. I agree totally with what they are clamoring for, because we had that issue at Social Security Board. Yeah. I don't recall if you were president then.
No, I wasn't, I wasn't, but I was informed about it. I remember that I mentioned this publicly last week, I believe, that I kind of described how the round of negotiations that happened before I became president, that it was a nasty affair. You guys were really treated poorly, and it was very contentious, and that's one of the issues we often had these conversations when we were preparing for the round of negotiations that I was involved with, to kind of really show what we were going to be up against, even though it was nowhere near that. But that was one of the issues. So I had that, and I was essentially saying publicly that when this thing emerged, I really didn't think back to what I knew had been the position and the battle that had taken place at SSB that involved that. But I think the point that I want to just be clear on, and I'm happy that you were clear with your personal position, is because there is this, I don't know if it was something that has been said or written by the NTUCB, where it says that the Trade Union Congress is only in a position to advocate for people who are actually in unions. Can you? I don't know if that was something that was said by someone at some point or written, but my understanding of the Trade Union Congress is that it should stand for workers wherever they are, and issues that are related to labor, the policy that deals with labor. That this is supposed to be an encompassing, inclusive advocacy group. Could you speak to that? Of
course, the NTUCB is represented on a very important committee called the Labor Advisory Board, and that's where we discuss the legislation, we discuss the Labor Act, and those things don't only affect the workers that are unionized, it affects all the workers of this country. So NTUCB does advocate and stand up for the rights and benefits of all workers of this country. Right? So that is not an issue. Like I said, the issue is that whenever it goes through a process where we have to go through a general council, there are certain actions that we have to vote on to take. And we have been supporting the two groups. We have not been ignoring their call. We went through just a different concept, but we felt that because of our position, it was important for us to ensure that the Labor Department recognizes what the NTUCB also feels when it comes to the severance and the discussion of severance and pension, and what our recommendations, which I think is the most important thing. You cannot just cite an issue and not say what your recommendations are. Yeah. And we did that. Now we have written again to the Labor Department to say, well, we wrote you this letter, we have not even had a response as to say, well, we invite you to a meeting to discuss this or how we can go about this as partners. We have not been invited, we have not been responded to that letter. And we're doing that again. And those are the issues that we will bring up at Labor Day, March and Rally, because as much as we say we do these things and the Labor Department or the government does not respond, it shows disrespect for NTUCB. And again, and we have invited again both entities to join us in Labor Day, March and Rally. I reached out to them personally and invited them to join us so that they have a stronger, they can see that we are united with them. So we asked them to join, they have committed to join as well.
I wish that we had arranged for a full segment or two on the show.
We can do that, brother. Just give it till after Labor Day, though. We can do that.
Yeah, it would have been cool to...
And just to add one more thing, we also invited the Cuban Brigade as well to join us in the March and Rally. We've invited the Cane Farmers to join us.
Okay. The who brigade?
The Cuban Brigade.
The Cuban Brigade, the
doctors and nurses, the Cuban doctors and nurses.
Are they joining in?
Yes, they said they would, yes. Oh. I hope they do. They said they would.
Oh, I'm curious. Why? I'm not saying that you should not have. I'm just very curious and intrigued.
Because again, they are workers of this country. They work here, and we are concerned. We're very concerned that they. Remember, what the conversation is right now is that they may have to leave us and return back to the country, and obviously represent the working class of this country who cannot afford to go to these private hospitals. So we would want them to stay. We think it is necessary for them to stay. We met with them, the NTUCB met with them probably maybe 3 to 4 weeks ago, and we had a discussion about how they operate in Belize. We clarified a lot of things that were out there, right? And at that point, we asked them if they would join us in the March and Rally, and they said, yes, they are workers of this country.
Okay. Well, thanks for the call, and it's Friday, May 1st. It starts at 10 in the morning, you said?
No, we gather at Constitution Park at 8:30 in the morning.
At 8:30?
Yes, and we make our way over to Birdsall. But I want to add one more thing, that we're also asking persons who may wish to, who would want to sell food or snacks or drinks at the Labor Day Rally at Birdsall to get in contact with me. My number is 601-3364. And they can reach out to me, and we can set them up with an area where they can sell their food and so on. Because we're expecting a decent crowd out there, and we want to give the opportunity to those persons in that area or in Belize City to make a little bit of extra cash that day if they want to. So again, the number is 601-3364. They can reach out to me anytime between now and Thursday.
All right. Thanks for the call, President.
Thank you, Brother Moses. And we work on us being on your show right after Labor Day.
Okay, great. Thanks. President of the Trade Union Congress of Belize, Ella Wade. We will take our final break, come back and wrap for today.